Thank you for joining us. I'm Davia Chambers and we are coming to you from the southwestern side of Tobago this week at Seaview Lodge in Signal Hill. Now in this week's episode of Let's Talk Tobago, we will take a stroll to give you a closer look at this wonderful property. We'll also review this week's major stories from across the island. So stay with us for all the details, starting as usual with the headlines. It's a three-peat. Scarborough RC girls retain the National Girls Under-15 Primary Schools football title. Victims of the destruction left by Tropical Storm Karen are getting help to rebuild. 20 more Tobagonians are now ready and able to cultivate cassava. And later we have the highlights from the THA NAAA TT Tobago Cross Country Series. All these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday.
They say it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters the most. And in the face of disaster, chaos, and panic, it is the Tobago Emergency Management Agency's comprehensive emergency response plans that will matter most to Tobago. This agency's modernized approach to emergency management is driven by technology, powered by networking, focused on community resilience, open to partnering, enhanced through training, and led by a highly competent and dedicated staff. This has positioned them as one of the premier disaster management agencies in the region and earned them Trinidad and Tobago Diamond Standard certification. Congrats, TEMA, Tobago Emergency Management Agency.
Seaview Lodge is made from robust South African logs. The property is snugly tucked away in the mountainside of Signal Hill. One look from the lodge is enough to explain the inspiration behind its name. Now in our first story, we introduce you to the 2019 Atlantic National Primary School Football League Girls Under-15 champions. It's the third straight year they've got their hands on the trophy. With all the details in this story. On fire indeed, so hot that they scorched the football grounds 3 times in a row, retaining the Atlantic National Primary School Girls Under-15 football title for the third straight year. It's why these footballers of Scarborough Roman Catholic Primary School got a hero's welcome at the A&R Robinson International Airport as they returned with championship trophy in hand.
May your victory inspire others, and may that motivation and inspiration that you would have brought to Tobago today spread throughout our education system and be reflected not only in terms of the sport, but also in terms of the academics.
The champs were in command in the final, defeating Maloney Government Primary School 4-1. 3 of those goals were scored by league MVP Kimaya Musgrave.
My game plan going into the finals was to win and play hard.
We are truly proud of their efforts for Scarborough RC. This is a hat trick. And of course, the trophy stays right here in Tobago. Third victory, and I understand the girl, a young lady from Scarborough RC, she also got MVP, Most Valuable Player. So congratulations to the young ladies. Congratulations once again to their coaches and their teachers, their principal. Because you know, St. Scarborough RC is a school that is unbeatable.
The girls were coached by Donnie Stewart. He says his secret to success is succession planning.
I stuck to the program which we have, stuck to my style of play. Defense was good, midfield was good. In the final third was excellent.
Meanwhile, Montgomery Government Primary School were runners-up in the boys under-15 category. Seaview Lodge is owned by Michelle and Jerry Gelino. Its construction using logwood and natural stone on outdoor areas helps maintain the feel of Tobago's authentic natural environment. We move to construction of a different kind, the Lambo River Bridge along the old Milford Road. It's moving along ahead of schedule. Omudara Mills has an update on the works and when the bridge is expected to be opened. Here's this story.
These 6 beams are part of the construction of the Thompson River Bridge. With the foundation in place, contractor General Earth Movers has already begun to work on the bridge's superstructure. The beams are part of that superstructure, which will increase the longevity of the bridge and ease of access for road users.
This would provide a riding surface for the vehicles, so without it, the vehicles would not be able to cross the structure. And that's the reason that it's important to have this element of the structure installed. Usually bridges are designed with a 30 to 50 year lifespan because that is usually the lifespan of the concrete. Beyond that time, the concrete begins to deteriorate. So at a minimum, you're looking at 30 to 50 years before you see any major defaults on that structure.
As the client, the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment is pleased with the efficiency of the construction. Senior Civil Engineer at the division, Kelsey Toussaint-Reed, says this dual-lane bridge is an important area along the Milford Road.
What we are trying to do is create an alternative access to the highway where there's no wait time for persons when they get to the bridge. So the idea behind the project, besides being an alternative route into Scarborough, is to allow dual-lane traffic at all times.
The Thompson River Bridge will be a 2-lane roadway for motorists. It will feature 2 sidewalks for pedestrians. Based on the timeline and the progress of the works, the contractor expects the bridge to be completed by March 2020.
Barring any acts of God and anything else that we can't predict at this point in time, General Earth Movers Limited assures you that this project is going to not only be completed on time, but ahead of time.
I am very pleased with the progress of this project because it looks like we will be able to give Tobago what they want sooner than was originally promised.
This is the second major bridge to be rebuilt along the old Milford Road. The first was the Lambo River Bridge. The division continues to work towards improving the island's roadways and providing proper alternative access routes to the Claude Noel Highway. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Seaview Lodge sits on 8,000 square feet of land. It has 2 self-contained bedrooms and can accommodate 5 guests. It's designed for maximum comfort with air conditioning and furniture handpicked to aid your relaxation. And speaking of aid, it's just what several residents needed after their homes were damaged by the passing of Tropical Storm Karen. Now they're getting a boost to help rebuild their lives. Here's more. 58-year-old Alicia Sadhanas lost his home in September. The 2-bedroom structure, constructed from sheets of plywood, was no match for Tropical Storm Karen. It was an ordeal no one wants to experience. But soon, Mr. Adonis will be able to rebuild. He recently received a grant from the National Commission for Self-Help Limited.
We take great pride in highlighting that the Board of Directors for the period 2019 approved for Tobago 362 minor repair and reconstruction grants, 73 emergency repair and reconstruction grants, and 15 development projects. Therefore, without a doubt, the Commission, under the leadership of our chairman, Mr. Anthony Campbell, has redoubled its commitment to the residents of Tobago.
Tropical Storm Karen brought flooded streets, downed trees, and power outages to Tobago. 30 other Tobagonians also experienced the destruction firsthand. They too received support at the Commission's latest grant distribution ceremony.
Storms, whether internal or physical, ultimately reveals or shows our tenacity and strength. I say to you that you must aim to restore your lives, perhaps in circumstances where you demonstrate that our infrastructural resilience is extremely important. Because the truth be told, the threat of climate change is very, very real.
In all, more than $700,000 was distributed through the Emergency Repair and Reconstruction Grant.
On that morning, I had a very hard encounter where a tree came up and fell on a house that are trying to build with me and my 2 daughters and a little grandson after I come out from my domestic affairs. And that, I can't even tell you what will come out of me I know. So when the tree fell on the house, when they came in the morning, they meet me on the roof, tying down what I could have tied down, what I could have do, and they assist me. And I want to tell everybody, self-help, office, everybody. So when I go up there, I started to talk one time because I just couldn't keep in me emotion.
The grant distribution is one way the Commission continues to fulfill its mission in Tobago, which is to provide social security relief where it's needed most. It is time to take a break, but coming up next, close to 100 Scarborough District workers take the time to get a checkup. Stay with us, Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Scarborough Library facility. Here we utilize the latest technology to bring you library and information services. Once inside, the staff at the information desk will direct you to the relevant department. And now, our CSR Darian will help you through the registration process.
Hi, good day. Ready to register?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, please.
Can you see your documents? One completed form, photo identification, and utility bill?
Yes.
Thanks much. This is your library card. It displays your user ID as well as your barcode. This information is also reflected on the reverse side. If you'd like, you can tear along the perforated line to detach the 2 pieces. This can be kept in your keychain, the other can be kept in your wallet or your purse.
But the Scarborough Library facility is so much more than just physical books. Once registered, you can log on to our website at library.diaz.gov.tt. Scroll down to select the NALIS link. Once you are connected to the NALIS website, you can then download the Overdrive app to your Apple or Android devices. Using your personal account, you can borrow ebooks and access online databases. Renewal of physical books can also be done online. The new Scarborough Library facility will revolutionize your library experience, where information inspires innovation.
Welcome back. We are at Seaview Lodge in Signal Hill. Now, the vibrant colors used in and around the lodge reflect its Caribbean flavor. There's also a garden full of tropical fruits, and the hammock outdoors invites you to lay back and just relax. So employees of One Tobago House of Assembly Division are getting to know their numbers, their health numbers that is, as they attended a recent free health screening session. Obadara Mills explains why this session is so necessary in this next story. Have a look.
A large number of limb amputations in Tobago are a result of diabetes. So a Know Your Numbers health session for Scarborough District workers of the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment is one way to sensitize persons about proper lifestyle choices. The workers took the opportunity to access free health screenings for their blood glucose, blood pressure and weight. The initiative was the brainchild of David Moses, a foreman at the Infrastructure Department. Mr. Moses saw the need to sensitize workers about lifestyle diseases and encourage them to get a checkup.
We don't mind the work, but then our health is more important, you know. You have to know your health to know if you are able to do the work, and that is what it is. That is my philosophy, I think, because your health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, nothing will work properly for you.
The wellness event was facilitated by the TRHA's Surgical Ward Amputee Action Group, SWAG. The program included a lecture on chronic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and obesity. Workers also got to ask questions to find out how these illnesses affect their well-being.
And so we want to sensitize them, because one of the things we notice is that persons eat lavishly, all the sugars, all the sweets, and then they say, I'll take my medication, right? So we want to help to educate them that that's not the best way. They need to take charge of their lives.
Assistant Secretary of the Division, Sheldon Cunningham, is pleased that employees are taking the time to know their numbers.
They are working every day. A lot of persons find out diseases are late, and it is rather that we find out early where we could take care of it. So I'm really pleased about the initiative done by the Scarborough District in terms of taking our time off to have all of their workers have some form of initial health checks.
Close to 80 Scarborough District workers got a checkup during this screening session. Mr. Moses wants to see other infrastructure districts benefit from similar sessions. He also wants the workers to pass on what they've learned and encourage relatives and friends to be proactive in looking after their wellness. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Seaview Lodge has its own on-site caretaker to ensure guests always enjoy clean, comfortable surroundings. So the only thing you'll have to worry about is making lasting holiday memories with your family and friends. Now, Tobago is doing all it can to increase the production and consumption of wholesome, locally grown foods. It's one of the reasons several farmers got the chance to learn more about cassava cultivation. It's all in this next story.
20 more Tobagonians are now well versed in all aspects of cassava cultivation, from planting the best varieties to caring for the plants to reaping the tubers. They graduated from a 10-month cassava farmer field school training program. This hands-on training project is a vital component of the Cassava Industry Development Program, a regional initiative funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and implemented by the Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO. Graduate Anthony Moore is a farmer who specializes in cassava cultivation. He tells us about his experience.
My greatest pleasure was the reaping. I think I enjoyed farm school, being able to go there and see what our hands, what we have produced, and the diligence, and looking at the crops, and being able to ascertain what was infected, what was not infected, and how do we counter that. I think Tobago cassava production is in good hands.
The Division of Food Production, Forestry and Fisheries receives technical support from the FAO to implement the projects on the island. Technical advisor Kathleen Titus says the aim is to increase production and consumption of cassava in CARICOM countries.
Caribbean Development Bank now has a focus in agriculture. For again, that's from what we heard, so this is part of the efforts to increase agricultural sector output, improve rural livelihoods, food and nutrition security, and to reduce poverty. The objective of the project is to enhance the capacity of evidence-based decision-making regarding the development of the cassava industry in selected countries.
Secretary of Food Production, Forestry and Fisheries Hayden Spencer is congratulating the graduates for their efforts in growing the agricultural sector.
It is always a good thing when interest in agriculture is stimulated. Encouraging more persons to get involved in agriculture production. The commitment of all the graduates of this program is commendable and helps to paint a promising future for agriculture in Tobago, particularly increased cassava production.
The project also featured a cassava value chain workshop and a market research assessment exercise conducted by the FAO and the Food Production Division. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
At Seaview Lodge, you can enjoy this saltwater pool with a modern massaging waterfall. The jets and fountains provide aqua and massage therapy to really enhance your vacation experience. Now this. For more than 200 years, Methodists have been advocates for education, and the church's latest initiative is aimed at fostering good values among students in all of their schools. Here are the details in this report.
The Methodist Church has always been a major contributor to education in Tobago. Now, the church's South Caribbean district is seeking to reinforce the holistic development of students at Methodist schools. The The church's new development project will enhance both its ministry and youth education arms.
This introduction service represents the official launch in this Tobago circuit of a valiant decision to move all of our Methodist schools in the South Caribbean district to the front burner as we activate a redefined ministry of the church through education in their schools.
The project was launched under the district's theme, Renewed in Christ, Committed to a New Caribbean. It will be administered to all teachers in Methodist schools. The new initiatives include school auditing, an annual retreat for principals and the school board, professional training development for teachers, and a review of the school board.
Many of our schools are not choice schools within their local communities. That the Methodist Church recognizes this and has embarked on this very comprehensive school improvement initiative.
The move by the Methodist Church to renew its role in education is being commended by the Tobago House of Assembly. Marcelin Melville Jack, the Secretary of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labour, believes this project is timely and significant.
The clarion call for renewing of the mind, as proclaimed by our Honourable Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles, is critical if we are to effectively reform our schools, our communities, our island, and the world by extension.
The launch of the development project took place at the Nutrition Building in Canaan. I'm Kern De Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we've got to take a break, but when we return, we have highlights of the THA NAAATT Tobago Cross Country Series. It's up next on Let's Talk Tobago. Stay with us.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
There we go, to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday.
Thank you for staying with us. Seaview Lodge is a great location for honeymooners, family getaways, or even if you're just looking to enjoy the peaceful ambience. They're just a phone call away. Now this, Tobago once again showed its athletic prowess at the THA NAAATT Tobago Cross Country Series. It's the second year one local club has secured the bragging rights with the main title. Here are the highlights.
Five-time Carifta champion Mark London maintained his grip on the men's title in the N3A's Tobago Cross Country Series. The Zenith Athletic Club athlete completed the 6-kilometer course in 21 minutes, 23 seconds. Mark says he's been running since age 9 and he's always happy to support events at home.
Right now it's all about me just keeping fit. It kind of been a struggle for me keeping fit, but I'm glad that the N3A's and the THA host these kind of races to, bring out the public and, help people like me keep fitness.
Finishing second was JDL Walters of UTT, who crossed the finish line in 22 minutes, 45 seconds. James Raphael of Tobago Select was third in 25 minutes, 23 seconds. The Tobago Athletic Committee ranks this competition as high on its calendar.
Actually, this event is a key event because it is 1 week before the finals in Trinidad, and this is where athletes come to actually test their skills, to see how far coaches would look at their performances and so on at this event.
The N3A's cross-country series was supported by the Division of Sport and Youth Affairs as the division advocates for greater participation in sport. and one official wants to see more schools compete in the event.
I think we should have much more support. I would have liked to see more at the school supporting. But distance running, that's in my blood. So the more these things are on show, the better for me.
The M3A's cross-country series took place at Mount Irvin Golf Course. I'm Kern De Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
Over the past 2 weeks, students have been illustrating how much they know about Tobago's tourism industry. Now the results are in and we have the inside scoop. It's all in our final story.
That is correct. $1,500 each, $8,000 for their school, a return trip to Trinidad, and a challenge trophy. That's what students from the Pentecostal Light and Life Foundation Primary School, winners of the 3rd Annual Primary School Tourism Awareness Quiz, took home. The defending champions came out victors against Table Peace Government in the final round to retain their championship.
I feel elated for my school that we're winning so much money and the trophy again, and my classmates will be so happy.
Apart from the prizes, the Tourism Awareness Quiz is a fun way to educate primary school students about the tourism industry.
What I learned about tourism through the whole tournament is that the ways that countries can benefit from tourism when tourists come to their country.
Teachers use the various learning techniques to prepare their students for the 2-week quiz challenge.
We did acronyms, like for the tourism services, we had LIMAs to remember the jobs. So we did L is for
Lecturers,
I,
Immigration Officer,
M,
Marketing Manager,
E,
Economist,
and R,
Researchers.
So I was to expose them to a lot of video to bring them on par to the different aspects of tourism here in Tobago.
The students also had support from their parents in getting ready for the competition.
I stayed up all 10 o'clock in the night and wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to be like, Mommy, I want to sleep. Mommy, when we gonna stop?
He was the one that wanted to take part in the competition, and I was only supporting him and making sure that he did his best. I told him if he was doing something that he had to put his best foot forward, not do anything halfway.
Kai's efforts were not in vain, as he copped one of 2 prizes for the most outstanding student. The other went to Kenneth Dunn from Table Peace Government. Most importantly, the quiz left participating students from the 32 schools with a sound knowledge of the tourism industry, along with their trophies, cash prizes, and gift vouchers. From the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
We close yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information on Seaview Lodge, you can call 681-7758 or send your emails to seaviewlodgetobago@gmail.com. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and enjoyable week. We leave you with a montage of the secondary school's football finals, Speyside versus Signal Hill. Do enjoy.